What's up? Welcome to today's live stream. Today is Friday. It's June 5th. June 5th. I feel like this is someone's birthday. I'm missing. June 5th. I think that's someone's birth. Obviously, it's someone's birthday, but someone I know. I think it's their birthday. Whatever. It's not in my phone. Anyway, welcome to today's live stream. I can hardly believe that we are more than halfway through the year. It feels like, I don't know, honestly, it feels like 2026 just came around. And here we are, more than midway through the year. Lots of things have occurred. I wish that all of them could have been great, but that's not necessarily the case. But what can you do? Such is life. In any case, because I haven't done these live streams in a while, there are a lot of things that aren't necessarily set up anymore. I want to figure out how to get my music going again. So I'm going to spend some time doing that. And what I have in store today is coding. I was sitting on the floor over there in front of the TV on my laptop, this one right here, playing around, and it's starting to get to a point where I need tests. Really, that's really what I need. I need to get some tests in place, and yeah, it's just something to do. Right? Really, that's it. It's something to do. It's not web related. I do have a game that I've been developing for a bit, and I may show that in a moment. But give me some time to get music. I use a tool. I shouldn't call it a tool. It's a program to play music, and I have it installed on all of my devices, but I want to run it from my laptop right there. And maybe you can't see it, but there's a laptop right there. So what I want to do is connect to that laptop, and I'm not sure, who views these streams of mine, but I'm going to assume that you're not technical. We have what's up, Cruz? We have a program in my space that allows us to securely connect to a remote machine, and that is called SSH for Secure Shell. So I'm going to SSH into my machine, and I want to say it's IAMWILL. I hope it's IAMWILL. I really don't know. It could be that. And I think it's Zeus.local. Now, I'm able to do Zeus.local because I have a line in my host file that names the IP address, or that specifies the IP address for this particular host. So that's why I'm able to refer to it as Zeus.local. So all right, allow. All right. Now that's just the password to the other machine, and as you may notice, that it now says, instead of Titan, which is the current machine that I'm on, it says Zeus, which is the name of that machine over there. And if I do this right here, we'll see here. I forgot. It's not gonna load my my ZSH profile, so I have to actually name the program manually this time. So as you can see here, I have far fewer cores. I only have 10 cores. Whereas if I come to this machine and I do it, you see I have substantially more cores. You have to watch Backrooms. Why? I don't know. I don't think I need why. I don't know if I would watch that. Yeah, I don't know. Movies. Yo, what's up? 20. I'll refer to you as 20 hours later. What's going on? How you doing? All right. So, in any case, we will close out of that machine. We're now back here to Zeus, and the program that I use is called CMusic. CMuse. So, it's pretty cool because it's a TUI terminal based application. You just point it to wherever your music lives, and you can create playlists and all kinds of things, and it's separate from your actual music. So you could think of it as like you're creating a presentation layer, but you're like, I guess how you've organized your music on your file system is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's arbitrary. Doesn't matter. Okay, so go over to, I have, what is it? Is it just art list, I guess? Okay, so I don't hear anything, and that's because I never really set up a project on my MPC. So the music is playing. Okay, I was about to say, yeah. So the music is playing, but you won't hear it until I get a project set up on the MPC. Not project. I had to configure some things on the MPC. I should do this in a project, but after a year and a half, I haven't done it yet, and I don't think I'm gonna do it today either. I'm just set it up now for now. Okay, so it's now coming into my interface, and I have some special plugins that I run in my interface. Okay, all right, so yeah, I have music now. All right, perfect. Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this thing that I've been working on. I have a tool, a writing tool that I've used. I don't know how long. Basically since I started at GitHub. You know, we had a repository, an internal repo of tools and such, and we had a lot of conversations about different tools, different workflows, because we took that kind of stuff seriously. And one of the tools that I was recommended is called Hemingway Editor. I think I was recommended this about a year or so, maybe 2 years into my tenure at GitHub. And this is this is what I use now for determining whether or not my writing, like what I produce, if it's readable or not. Right. So, and when I say readable, it's to a specific audience, better or for worse. The type of writing that I do, it needs to be consumed by everyday people. So with that, I need to make sure my writing, it's at a ninth grade or below level. So that's what I try to do. So I tend to write the way that I think, which tends to be at a little bit higher level than ninth grade. And what I'll do is I'll dump it into here, and it'll tell me, yeah, this is too complex. And yeah, anyway. So what I've been doing is playing around with. I'm curious to know how do we go from some text, which is arbitrary, right? Like anything can produce text. How do we go from some text to a score, right? There are some things that like what goes into that. So I started working on something, and it's not, honestly, I haven't really gotten too far. In fact, I'm probably just going to restart from scratch because I've only written a couple of functions. That's how new this is. So yeah, let's just do that. We'll start something from scratch. How do I want to do this? We'll go into, and we'll put it in random for now. So that's what it is. And we'll call this readability. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, so we're gonna use JavaScript. There's a reason for that. My favorite language is C#, but the tooling on Mac, it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, obviously there's .NET Core and all that kind of, but I don't want to install it on this machine. I guess we could use Swift, but I want a lot more. I want flexibility, right? I don't know how I'm going to interact with this, and if I use JavaScript, I can easily set up a web server, and I can prototype in this. Obviously, if this is something where I keep going, I end up having to switch the language because it's a lot of text processing I'm gonna have to think about. Anyway, we're gonna initialize a package file here, and yeah, that's really it. I think that's not really it, actually. Yeah, let's just open up Nadi. All right, oops. So that's gonna be code random. I've already forgotten what I call this. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. It will open this folder up. Of course, I am going to trust my project. All right, cool. So we now have a project. Except maybe there's something that I wanted to do first. Oh, we're already at 14. Okay, perfect. Oh, excuse me. All right, I'm assuming that this high contrast is fine for the stream. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Actually, no, I can't. I don't have TeamLux installed on this machine, so I'm gonna have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to SSH into it again. Actually, I think this could be on my volumes now. It's not. Okay. So I have a way to, I need to mount it. I'm gonna use the file system to mount that volume. So here, see, I have Zeus. I have something on my desktop. Oh wow, Finder just crashed. That's what just happened. I don't know if y'all saw that. Finder just crashed. All right, let's try this again. There's something on my, okay, Finder crashed again. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Here, how about maybe I'll just mount like so. Okay, so it's mounted. All right, maybe I'll just, yeah, I'll just do it this way. It doesn't like what I was doing before. Okay, so desktop. Perfect. Okay, all right, so I have some links that I put in some notes. So we're gonna open up that right here. So I started doing some research. Oh, actually, I should probably get more into this tool here, right? So why do I like it, right? So let's first go to some text. Something that was written. So we'll go to, I don't know. something that I'm fairly familiar with. So we'll come here and let's go to our PR. What the fuck? We'll go to PRs and we'll go to author. Can I do me? No, of course not. Okay. Okay. So just take one of these. I'm assuming, okay, anyway, all right, it's fine, whatever. I was assuming that it was wordy, but maybe not. Maybe, okay, that doesn't have a lot of words. Perfect, we'll just put that here. Right here, see here? This says readability grade 12. Now, obviously know your audience. I'm curious what goes into producing this score. You know, I've relied on and trusted this score for years, but I've never understood like what determines grade 12 or grade 10 or whatever. What determines that? There's a 1 minute delay between YouTube chat and the message showing up on the stream. Normal. I'm not sure, to be honest. You got to keep in mind, normally I'm talking to myself. I don't know. I don't normally have a chat. But I mean, it's not too bad, I suppose. Maybe. Okay, how big the words are probably. Well, I'm sure, yes, that's one thing. And I want to be clear. I have done some reading. I'm not blind on this anymore. I started looking into this yesterday. Cause I was working on my blog post, and here I am using this tool, and I get a prompt from Mac OS stating that this application, because it's x86 based, it's no longer going to be supported in future versions of Mac OS. So, like any other normal person, I'm like, well, whatever, sure, I'll go and see if there's an update to it, because this was made back in the day, and when I purchased it, this was back when you purchased software. You know what I mean? Where you would give them money, and then you would get the software, and you own the software. So yeah, I paid for this once. I haven't needed updates, so it just works. But Apple is driving this right now. So I went to their website, and here we are. I'm like, what is this? This is not the website I remember. This looks like a print, like a service, something I have to pay a monthly fee for. And fuck that, I'm not paying a monthly fee. That's what motivated this. It wasn't really just 100%. Oh wow, like I really want to build my own thing that can do this. Now this is very much, I do not want to pay. And it could be cheap. I don't know what it is, but I've noticed that most SaaS companies, their prices, they start at $10 a month. And I don't know who or what conditioned these executives to start everything at $10 a month, as if that's nothing. That's a lot of money. Anyway, looks like, yeah, you can't even buy it anymore, apparently. Desktop app, maybe. Okay, all right, yeah. Oh, you can still buy it. Okay. It's called Classic, but yeah, I don't think they've updated it. This, let's see, Hemingway Editor 3. Yeah, this is Hemingway Editor 3. So they haven't changed this since 2017. That's when 3 came out. Anyways, I started looking into this, like how these scores are produced, and I came across some things. So it's using a bunch of things. The first thing is this Flesch Kincaid grade level test. And then there's a Flesch reading ease test. And turns out that there is some research behind it. And I mean, Microsoft, they just gave the little formula, which that makes my life easy, right? So give me a moment. Let me get rid of this music. Is this playing in random, maybe? I'm gonna assume that it's playing random like it's supposed to. Kind of mix of the delay. My bad. Yeah. If you're chatting and you think it's gonna be instant like a regular chat, nah, it's not. So that could be it. Sometimes I can be minutes late, or sometimes I can miss it entirely. That happens. Okay, anyway, so where are we at? Where did the thing go? Oh yeah, so I was describing these scores, right? So this is some of the things, and I found a lot of stuff actually. Let me find there's something on readability I think that I had. Let's see. There can't be that many things with the word read in it, right? Reading. Oh, you know what? I know. I think I know what's going on. I know what's going on. I use different profiles for different things. I think that I was doing all of this in the wrong profile. Yes, look at that. Probability, natural language. Today. Smog. Yeah. Here we are. It's readable. That's what I was looking for. So there's this other site that I found that goes into all these different things, how to interpret these indexes or scores and all that kind of stuff. So what I figured I would do is start implementing some of these as functions. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but just implement them as functions for now. Get some test infrastructure set up so that I can validate that it's doing what I expect it to do. And over time, maybe I can build my own little tool, my own little Hemingway, right? Whether I do that as a native Mac OS application using Swift UI, or if I end up just using Electron, which is something that I used in the past. We'll see. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, I'm going to implement all these, learn about these, and yeah. Do you have access to the XAI API? Well, I think everyone has access to it, right? It's publicly available. It's an open, right? I think XAI. I guess I don't know. Let's see. Let me close that. And actually, no. XAI is that's a side quest. It's irrelevant to me. I don't care about XAI. In fact, if I do use any type of tools, I'm going to be using this right here, which I have access to my own local models, as well as to all of the OpenAI models. Yeah, that's what I have access to. That's it. Okay, so then, where was I? I created a project, which is basically nothing. I've done nothing. And I opened up the editor. Okay, that's something. Now let's go ahead and create a file. Let's do that. We'll create index ts, and we'll also go on ahead and we'll just log out something. We'll say hello world. How about that? Make sure we add some excitement to that. Make it a little bit bigger. we'll make this 16. That didn't do it, did it? Okay, yeah, it did. All right, perfect. So zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully y'all can see that okay. All right. So before we do anything, let's go ahead and go to this package thingamajig, and we'll add a what do I want to call it? Dev, maybe, I don't know. So let's call it dev. And for now, oh shit, gosh, we'll use bun. We'll use bun. We'll call bun index TS. All right, look at that. Look at that. Can y'all look at it, man? Look at it. I'm a professional. I know how to program. All right, anyway. I lied. I actually should have done something a little bit differently. So we'll create a source directory. We'll move this to here. Yeah, whatever, refactor. And we'll make sure that that still works. And we'll also create a test directory where we're going to put some tests. All right, so we're going to create another directory. Can I do it this way? Can I say like lib and then say we're gonna do the how do you say it? We're gonna do this, the flesh kincate. So that's FLESCH kincate KID dot, okay, yeah, cool, dot TS. Can I do that? Will it let me do that? Yes, it will. Perfect. Look at that. Cool. So we're going to have a function, and we're going to do this first one right here, this flesh reading ease test. Flesh, man, how do you spell that shit? Make my life easier. We'll do it this way. Have them both open. I know about I know about programming. All right. I'm sure. You don't need to know anything. It's fine. Okay. So then, I need to know how to spell. So FESCH. Okay. All right. Cool. Kincate. Okay. Cool. Reading ease tests. And I suppose we just give it some content, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what we would call it, so let's just call it content. We'll just give it some content. That'll be a string, and it'll return a number of something. Maybe it's going to return something else. We'll get into API, like the design of the interfaces and all that kind of stuff as things come together. All right, so this says here that I need something called the ASL and an ASW, and the ASL is the average sentence length. Okay, so there are some statistics that I'm going to need to produce, and let's just call this a text statistic. How about that? So interface text statistics. Rid of that statistic. There we go. Yeah, look at that. I can spell. Look at that. So we're gonna have so we're gonna need, I'm looking at here, right? So we're gonna need to know sentences. All right, so we'll do sentences, and that'll be a number. And number of words. Okay, so I'm gonna need to know words. Sentence. I can't spell for shit, can I? All right, so we need to know words. And this will be a count. All right, so that'll be a number. And then this ratio, even though this is calculated, and I'm just gonna make it part of the interface. So we'll call this ASL, and that'll be a number. And here we need syllables. Okay, so yeah, so let's grab syllables. Syllables. All right, that's gonna be a number. Number of words divided by, oh wait. Number of syllables divided by number of words. So I have words and I have syllables now, and now I need ASW. Perfect. ASW. Okay, cool. Just going through all of these to make sure there's nothing else. So ASL, ASW, perfect. So with that, let's do some documentation. So ASW is the average number of syllables per word. And I could put in on, yeah, I'll just keep it as such. And I'll only document the ones that aren't self-evident. So this is going to be average sentence length. Okay. All right. We have a text statistic. And it's upset because I'm not using it anywhere, but that's okay for now. So I'm gonna want to have a function that's going to compute these things, right? So let's create a function, compute text statistic, and we're gonna get in some text as a string, and we want to return one of these text statistics as such. And right now it's upset because it's like, oh, you don't have the thing. So let's go ahead and return one. So first we'll do this. We'll just say words, and that'll be equal to 0 for now. Sentences will also be equal to 0 for now. We're gonna have to figure out how to calculate these at some point. Syllables, also that's something I'm gonna need to figure out how to calculate or how to compute. Okay, so these things I think are the only ones that I need. So we'll return sentences, words, syllables. ASL is equal to sentence. I've already forgotten. Words divided by sentences. Okay, so words divided by sentences. Okay. And ASW is equal to I would assume that's syllables divided by words. Yes, syllables divided by words. Okay, cool. So we now have a function that can do some stuff. So let's grab something from it. We'll just grab words for now, and we'll say equal to compute text statistic, and we'll pass in the content for the text. And right now it's upset because I'm not returning a number, so we'll just return this for now. All right, cool. That's happy, but this is a terrible way to test things, right? I want to be able to, as I make changes, see the effects of my changes. So I'm gonna put in some test infrastructure so that I can do that. Okay, I heard a chat, but I don't see it. So So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. All right. Well then, let's go ahead and add some testing stuff. Now it turns out I'm using Bun because I'm using TypeScript, and I forget that Node doesn't know TypeScript. So I think Bun has a test runner. I think so. We're just gonna go to Bun and figure out how to do their test. I'm sure it's by convention. That's why I had to just go read their docs. Okay, here we are. Look at test runner. There we are. So dot test. I guess that's all that's required. So we'll go into test and we'll create a file here. And this is going to be the flesh Kincaid .ts. Oh no, I have to put .test.ts. And I assume the import is what's actually going to do it. So let's import the thing and see if it finds the thing. And you know what? I really hate JavaScript import syntax. It's really dumb. Okay, so now I need to install the Bun stuff. The Bun stuff. I think what I'm going to do first of all is delete this. Yeah, I'm deleting all of this shit. Okay, and we also want to remove the node. Wait, oh, I forgot. I never did any. Okay, I'm dumb. I am dumb. Okay, so we'll do bun init. Blank. Okay, all right. Cool. That did some stuff. That definitely did something. What the hell is this Claude here for? All right, fine. So I think when I do that, I think it's gonna allow me to pull in the latest bun types. That's why I'm doing this, by the way. I have to. So it looks like there's this bun lock. So it actually pulled in types. So let's confirm. Yeah, look at that. No modules. And if we go into here, we see here, yeah, types. Perfect. And we get types for TypeScript. Yeah, I'm good. I'm golden. Off to the races. All right, cool. So then let's come back to that package. And where is it at? Here we are. Scripts. And we'll do dev. That'll be bun source index ts. Let's confirm that works. Perfect. Yes, we get hello world. There's a reason why that program is so simple. All right, perfect. So now in my lib, all right, so I need to make sure that this is an exported function so I can test it. Compute test, yeah, that doesn't need to be an interface. That doesn't need to be exported either, but I mean, it's an interface, so it should be. Okay, where is that test file at? Did I not create it? There we are, perfect. So if I do that, I should be able to pull out expect. There we go, it works now. Before, it wouldn't do that because of reasons. Interesting. I was expecting that to do something different. So we'll just do a quick. Oh, okay, sure. It did the thing different this time. All right, so we'll just do this for now. All right, so test. All right, cool. So we have the test passing. And I think that we could do describe in bond test, can't we? Oh, writing test. How about that? It may be there. Yeah, okay, we can. Perfect. Cool. So then we're gonna pull that out. So what am I describing? I'm gonna my flesh Kincaid readability test. I'll just do flesh Kincaid. All right, cool. So, first thing we're gonna do is, oh, actually, I think a lot of the work is probably gonna be in this compute test, or yeah, it's probably gonna be here. But for now, we'll do this flesh Kincaid reading ease test. Okay, so we're gonna have our reading ease test, and yeah, we're gonna actually do the test, and there are gonna be a bunch of different tests. I don't know what tests we're gonna need for right now. Let's just call this foo. Actually, no, that we're gonna call it the name of the function for now. It's just for now, but eventually this will be what am I actually testing, right? And I follow a way of how I arrange my test. It's called arrange, act, assert. So I'll just put it here, arrange, act, assert. And this is how I've done my testing since, I don't know, since the mid 2010s. And the idea is that you have a system under test. And this is a unit testing way of arrange. This is for unit testing, what I'm trying to say, right? So you only do this if you're unit testing, right? So because you're unit testing, you're gonna have the system that you're testing, right? So let's create our system under test here. So we'll call it SUT. And normally by convention, I'll do like underscore like that, SUT. And that's going to be my system under test. In this case, it's just functions. These are just free floating functions. Maybe I want that. Maybe I don't. In this case, I'm just going to keep it as free floating functions. So in reality, where am I at? Where's it at? Right here. So my system under test is just going to be the functions, right? So I won't have a SUT here, but that's what will be under this this act, right? So I'll have the result that I'm trying to capture, and if it's an effect that I'm trying to measure, that's different. I have different ways of doing that. But what I would do is just say SUT, whatever the thing that I'm testing is, whatever the function is, whatever my test input params are. So we'll say params. In this case, I guess, yeah, params. It would be args in this case. So we'll pass in whatever the args are. And then we'll get our result. And then this is what we are asserting against, all right? So we can do the result. What do we expect it to be? And the arrange is just getting everything set up. Whatever we need to get the system in the state in which we can test it. I know I rambled through that, but that's okay. That's fine. So let's get rid of this right here because I don't need it. Instead, let's import some stuff from that particular module. So that's in lib. Is it? All right. How do I get to modules here? I wonder if it's configured a certain kind of way. Not seeing anything there. I'll go, oops. Oops. Okay, so I am curious, how in the world do I get out of this directory? Can I just do this? Because it doesn't seem to know. Oh, never mind. It does. I'm dumb. Haha. Do that. Lib. And what I should probably do is have what do you call those? Module aliases. That's what I thought it set up, and it didn't. But that's probably what I should have. It's a module alias. Okay, all right. Perfect. All right, we got the thing. It's imported. Perfect. So that's my system in this case. So let's just do the act for now, just so I can have it in the test. So we'll just call it, I don't know, score for now. And we're going to call the flesh, whatever that is. And we're going to put the content that we're testing. And because I want to have the content always be the same for this particular... Actually, do I want? No. I'm going to have it here. We're going to create my input here. So we'll just call it I for input for now. We'll pass in I just so that we can, get that to leave me alone. And then we're going to expect the score to be something. I don't know what score it's going to be right now. So we're just going to put 1. So this test should fail because I just made up a number. But let's run it and see what we get. All right, so it failed as well. We see 0, and that should make sense. Why, right? Because I'm literally passing 0. So let's see what the output looks like. So we get flesh Kincaid reading ease test, the function. So this right here, this would be the thing that I'm testing. All right. So in this case, because I don't have any implementation, there's no need to like get into what to test yet, but we're about to get into that very soon. Now that I have my infrastructure, my plumbing, as you would say. All right, so cool. That's all my input or all my infrastructure. So first things first, let's come to this, whatever the hell this is, and let's start implementing some stuff. Fortunately, get rid of this music. Fortunately, we have some stuff that I can use. Oh man, I misspelled it. F-L-E-S-C-H. F-L-E-S-C-H. No, I didn't. Okay, I spelled it right. Okay, perfect. Cool. So let's get started with the reading ease test. Flesch Kincaid reading ease test. So because I'm doing these modules named after the test, I'm just gonna do reading ease test like this. Right? So I'm importing it as reading ease test from Flesch Kincaid, right? So that makes sense to me. Okay. So looks like all I need to do here is return 206.835. I hate magic numbers like this, but hey, that's what it is. 1.015 times. All right, we don't have an ASL yet, but I mean I do, but not yet. So let's pull out ASL, which remember we don't calculate that yet, but we need to at some point. All right, and we're gonna subtract that from 84.6. Again, another random ass value, and we're gonna pull out ASW. All right, so we're gonna have to figure out how to calculate those at some point. Oops. All right, cool. So from an implementation standpoint, this does the thing. So let's just see what it outputs for now, right? Let's just see what it does. I'm expecting to get 0 because, you know, 84 times 0 is 0, right? And then 1 times whatever this is times 0 is also 0. 1, and so that's 0 minus 0. That collapses to 0. So we should get 206 when we run this test. All right. Oh no, but we get not a number. All right. So we're gonna have to figure out why. Why are we getting not a number? Words is 0. Okay. Sentences is 0. Syllables is 0. These two should be okay. All right. We're gonna figure out why. Why these are not a number. Not a number. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. Okay, let's do some debugging. We'll put a breakpoint there. There should be a test viewer. That's what I'm looking for. Like a window. Okay, so for whatever reason, I can't debug it that way. I'm reading to see what program is like what arguments are being passed. All right, so we see here we're calling node. It's telling it what to import and what file. It's saying something is deprecated. This module register is deprecated. All right, well, let's see if there's something here where I can get to the debugger. I'm resorting to the old trick when I can't get to the debugger. I don't know why I can't attach the debugger at this point, but instead of trying to figure that out, there's another thing I can do. I can just do print lines like this, or I'm sorry, I call them print lines in JavaScript console.log. So we're just gonna do this right here. Just print out the score, see what we get. Indeed, we are getting not a number. All right, so honestly, let's just go up to the next place. So that's here. This is returning not a number. So we got to figure out why is this returning not a number. Now, I know that is coming from here somewhere. So I think that this ASW whatever is probably the culprit. So what I'm going to do is lift this out, this calculation out, which is probably the smart thing to do anyways, when you think about it. So we'll just do this right here. We'll call it ASW, ASL, like that. Oops. I realized I did the whole thing. It's going to equal that. ASL. All right, and we're going to do the same thing for ASW. Okay, so 0 divided by 0. Let's see what that is. You know, shall we? I have a feeling that that's not a number. I have a feeling. And look at that. So it turns out in node land, 0 divided by 0 is not a number. So this is one of these situations where like my test, I mean, honestly, I'm not testing anything yet, but there's not much I can do because I haven't actually implemented anything. So let's begin to implement something. Before we implement something, let's add the other functions. So we'll do one for grade level tests. So that'll be grade level tests. And that'll take content, which is a string. And for now, it's returning a number, but I'm not sure I mean, maybe we don't want to return a number. And because this uses the same concept, ASL, ASW, I'm just going to literally do that right here. Okay, so for this one, we're going to return 0.39 times the average sentence length. We're going to add that to, I don't know, whatever this coefficient, this coefficient is, times the average, what is that, syllables per word. And then we're going to subtract 15.59. These are some weird decimals. I'm like, why are we subtracting 0.59? And how come we're only using 11.8 flat, but these two nines here, like, that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, okay, anyway. And we need to make sure we export that. So now we have grade level test and we have reading ease test. Is there another one? Okay, no, there's not. Perfect. All right, cool. So we can close that. And let's figure out how to do some of this stuff. So I need to calculate words. Now, I think the naive way to do this is to, here, I'll show it instead of just talking. I'll show it. I think the most naive way to calculate the amount of words or the number of words is to go to our text and then do a split and then say, you know what, we're going to just split it by space. So then everything is a word. And this is part of the reason why I'm doing this test, right? So let's create a test for this compute test text statistic. And I think this should live in its own file somewhere. So let's come into library here. And I don't know, we'll call this utils, common, something like that. What should I call this? Maybe I'll call it text anal. .ts. All right, dump that here. Cool. Export. And we'll come into here and import. And we're happy. We're golden now. So we can close that out. And I need to make a test. And this is going to be text anal dot test dot ts. Just basically copy and paste. Except we don't want this. We want text anal. And obviously nothing exists. Actually, something does exist in here. We want to compute text statistic. And we're going to describe that. Describe text, compute text to whatever the hell. right, so this is where I'm gonna. Oh yeah, so this is where all of my testing is gonna live for this, which is gonna do a lot of the heavy lifting, I think. Right, so in reality, this test right here doesn't mean anything right now. So let's just delete it. We don't care at the moment because we can't do anything with it. But this one, we could do a little bit more. So let's create our first test. And in this case, we want to test the words, right? We're going to focus on the words. So let's create another block. And we're going to describe words, word summary. Okay, so the thing we're testing really is this compute test statistic, and we're gonna go ahead and create our test. All right, well now, we should probably put our content text. How about that? That's an empty string. All right, so at the moment, what we want to do is we want to pull out a specific thing from here. So let's pull out the words. That's what we're interested in. All right, and for this one, we're going to expect words to be 0. Right, and the reason why we expect the words to be 0 is because I'm passing in this right here. All right, so my first test is, does it return 0 when given the empty string? Oh, actually, before we let's make sure I'm skipping this. We don't want to do that right now. Perfect. Cool. So it returns 0. All right. But again, this could just be returning. This could be returning 0 on accident, right? It may not actually be doing it because that's the correct answer. Now, in this case, it's returning 0 because I returned 0 by default. So let's not return 0 by default. Let's do my naive implementation of calculating or counting the number of words in a string. And here, I'm gonna just do it, and then I'll explain why it's naive. So we'll do this. We'll split. We will. Wait, why is that getting in my way? We'll do that, like so. We'll split it, and then we'll just count the splits. All right. So here's what happened. Right. I am going through. Let me just make a new file right quick. Test. Delete text. Okay, so let's say we have this sentence. All right, cool. What my naive implementation is doing, and I think I've already implemented it, I hope. Yeah. All right, cool. So what my naive implementation is doing is it's scanning this string of characters, this list of characters, this array of characters, whatever you want to call it. And every time it discovers an empty space a space. That's what that space was. It splits it. So it basically is turning a string into an array. So this is me turning the string into an array right now. It's a string. Now it's turning into an array. So I see the split right here, enter. I see the split right here, enter. See split, enter. All right, so that's what I'm doing. And then I am counting. That's what I'm doing. And that's my naive words. All right, so let's go ahead and see if this still works as we expect. Oh, look at that. It fails. I expected 0, but I received 1. Okay. Well, why is that? Let's come back here. Well, we see here it's an empty string. Okay. Let's come into my node thingamajig, right? So I have an empty string. Right? Empty string. And I'm going to split by empty string. And what do I get? I get an array of 1, of length 1. And that array has in it nothing. Well, turns out space and empty string are being treated equally here. So this is why I'm saying this naive implementation doesn't work. Now, having a test like this is useful. There just be a way to run these tests. I want to have it on watch mode where it automatically does all the stuff and shows me. Give me a moment while I try to figure that out, because it'd be incredibly useful right now. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything for running tests, which is disappointing. Notice how when I remove the space here, it works as we expect. This is kind of a subtle bug, which is why I'm going to make a test to protect against that subtle bug. So there's the case Where's the test? Okay, yeah. Wait, where is it at? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's the case where I give it an empty string, right? This is an empty string, but there's also the case where I give it white space, basically nothing, right? I wanna make sure I don't fail in that particular case. So what should I return when given white space? What should I return when given an empty string? Should it be the same? This is up to me to decide, but this is where having these tests come in handy. So in this case, we can say, here's what I want to happen. I want to return 0 when given white space. Or in other words, I want to ignore white space. How about that? I think that's what I really want to say. Ignores white space. Okay, so in this case, we're gonna have my text, and let's say test input. So the wrong thing, and I'm going to put in the wrong thing and see if my current algorithm is susceptible to that, which it may be. It may, I don't know. I don't think it does anything right now. It's it's a naive one right now. So we're going to grab our words as we were doing before. And we're going to expect it's the wrong thing, right? So we're going to expect that each one of my spaces is its own word. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then we have 4, 5. So that's what we're going to put in here. So we're going to expect words to be 5. Now, if this passes, that's because the implementation is wrong. It shouldn't be 5 because I'm putting in the wrong thing on purpose. All right, perfect. So it expected 5, but it received 12. Oh, that's interesting. Why are we receiving 12? Well, it turns out, remember I made this change over here. If you don't put any space, it's going to split everything by character, right? And because we gave it the empty string and there's no character to split by, we got 0. So when we counted the length of that array, there's nothing in it. So we got 0. So it caused the test to pass, but logically, you know, from the standpoint of the correctness of a program, it's incorrect. So let's correct it. So we should see one test pass and the other one, it should also still fail, but in another less obvious way. Okay, see here, expected 5, but we receive 4, and that's probably me counting. So let's see if I can count properly. Okay, here we are. Test input. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And well, this is 5. I'm trying to figure out how this is possible without having access to my debug tools, which would make my life so much easier. Oh, one moment. I will be right back. My dog needs some water. Okay, I am back. We're gonna do some investigation. I am not satisfied with not being able to use my debugger, my tools, the way that they're meant to be used. I like using my debugger, so I want to figure out why I'm unable to do that. So I'm going to go down a side quest right quick. Now, I know with Node, I can do -- inspect, which should allow me to connect to a port where I can debug my session. I can use NDB to do that, or whatever the protocol is, and I don't know what the protocol is called. But there's some type of protocol, and you can connect over a WebSocket, and you can do your debug session that way. So I'm going to assume that test has a similar thing where I can pass inspect. What do you know? What do you know? Okay. Now I am going to say break, because there is a breakpoint somewhere. And we're gonna put it on this one. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. Okay. All right. So I'm pretty sure it wants me to open this up in a Chromium based browser. So let me do that. Yes, that's what it wanted. Okay. Now that's one half of this. There should be a way for me to bind to this debug session from within WebStorm. So let's figure out how to do that. Where did my browser go? I had a browser. Oh, here it's there. Okay, all right, cool. So we're gonna say bind actually, you know what? I might be able to just figure this out by looking, just by looking at shit. It's my favorite way of figuring stuff out, just by looking, and sometimes things just click. Services, I'm gonna hide that. That's a distraction for me. Problems. So, all right, debugger settings. Okay, all right. This could be something. I'm getting somewhere. Modify run configuration. All right, I see that there's this browser here, and I'm assuming that this is the debugger. It has to be. VA profiling logs, configuration. Ah, look at that. Debugger listening on here. I wonder if I give it this port right here, or I give it whatever this is. Will it use that? Is it exposing where to listen to? I'm going to try that. And if that is, I need to, there must be some type of API that the IDE will expose that will allow me to do that. So we're going to cancel that out, and we're not going to inspect break this time. See here, I can do that host port. So let's just do inspect equal, and we'll dump that in there and see what happens. because that is a port. Okay. It did something. So it just worked somehow. So I think it silently ignored or failed or something. Listening on. Oh, I should probably do and wait. How about that? Yeah. Let's try that. Bun tests. Inspect. Wait. Okay. Now what? I still have to open it. Okay, let's open in Chrome. It doesn't know where Chrome is. Okay. Site can't be reached. All right, I think that was a fail. That didn't work. All right, let's use Google. Let's just ask the internet, even though Google sucks these days. Actually, you know what? We're gonna try this. Okay. So what do I want to know? So we'll say bun test web storm. I don't know. Those are some words. To enable debugging when running code with bun, use the inspect flag. That's obvious. Fuck, that's what I'm using. This automatically starts a web server. Okay, yeah, we've gotten that far. This is bun docs. This isn't. I don't think this is going to be helpful for me. Is WebStorm anywhere here? Or JetBrains? Start the debugger session. Okay. Is this just me not knowing how to use my tools? There's this cool feature in Visual Studio, not Visual Studio Code that I'm aware of, but in Visual Studio, when it saw a test, you could just run that test. It would be cool if this could identify that this is a test. And it seems to know that this is a test because it has this little thing here, but there's no way to just run this test. And while I could do this, I don't want to do that. And also that doesn't work. So I guess I can't do that. Inspect, wait. I've already tried that one. That didn't do it. Wonder if just run file is the way to do it here. Oh no, that can't be. That's not working. Yeah, this is running just as node. It's not running it as a test. Okay, so there is Bun debugger support, but I wonder if it's just not complete. Could that be it? Maybe it's just not fully complete. And if that's the case, I'm not going to be able to use Bun. I'm going to have to use something else, which means I'm going to have to deal with compiling. But you know what? I think that's okay. Here's why. This is such a throwaway like project, or it's in such a throwaway state right now, to where maybe I can ask AI to do that. So I've used Jest, I think is what it's called, in the past. Is that what it's called? Jest? Yeah. I've used Jest in the past. Now it sucks that I'm gonna have to like I'm gonna have to do JavaScript shit. I was hoping that this could be 100% self-contained and I didn't have to install anything extra. But if I can't run tests, not run tests, but if I can't debug my tests, that's what I'm needing. I need to be able to debug my tests. Just thinking to myself, there is a framework that I can use that will handle all of the compilation and all that other kind of BS for me. I am debating just using a web framework, because man, in JavaScript land, in Node land, there's just so many different things that we're gonna use a web framework, simply so I can get TypeScript support and not have to worry about getting that shit set up. I've only done that like 3 or 4 times, and every time I say this is the last time. Okay, so we're gonna use Svelte kit. Okay, and the good thing about doing what I'm about to do is like all this crap that I've done now, I can literally just copy it over. So that's what's gonna happen. Don't expect this to be 100% net new. That's not about to happen. Okay, so we're gonna go into my code directory, into random, and we're gonna call this readability V2. Sure. The sad part about doing it this way is that I had to install the world. It's so much just to do something simple. But I guess the good thing about this is that once I get the library, really I'm trying to get the library code. Once the library is built, I can rip it out and package it up however I like. And if I want to deliver it as a web app, meaning like a web service or whatever someone can use, it's already there. So I guess there is a benefit to doing it this way. So here, TypeScript syntax. This is the reason why I'm using this. It does it all. So we're going to use prettier. I should use ESLint. Whatever, we'll use it. We don't need any of this other crap. MCP, yeah, we don't need any of MCP. I'll set that up another time. We don't need that right now. And we're gonna use PNPM. So much stuff. Yeah, it's whatever. So now let's open it up. I'm gonna do V2. All right, and let's create a test directory. Not there. Okay, cool. So we have a test directory. We're gonna move this test. So let's see, in tests, we want to move everything into V2 test. All right, cool. And we also want to move, actually, I probably shouldn't have this, whatever. We'll copy text. Text anal. Anyway, we'll do that into readability 2 source libs. Yeah, we'll just, yeah, we'll put it here. Okay, let's see. We got some new stuff here. We do. All right, look at that. Seems that things are there. Let's come into this test. Now, this is wrong now. In fact, dude, is there even a test framework in here? Just no. There's no testing in here. Okay, so I guess that's going to be left as an exercise for me to do. Okay, more of the world, and where are we at? Function. All right, and we're gonna do jest. Now there must be some type of config file somewhere, right? Because how does it know? Unless it's convention. Maybe it's just convention. Let's just try. How about that? Oh, okay. Well, shit, it found it. All right, cool. Just fail to parse a file. This happens when your code or is this? Okay. Well, for one, we are no longer importing that. Let's delete that. And I guess describe is no longer a thing. I thought describe was a thing in Jest. I thought I've used Jest. I think. Have I used Jest? Man, the JavaScript testing shit, it's so fragmented. I don't know what I've used. There's another one, I'm sure. Maybe that's the one that I've used. But something has describe, right? Like that's such a... I thought they all copied each other, describe. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Describe, it's right here. Oh, you know, oh, maybe they're types. Maybe I had to get the types separately. Yeah, that's probably it. So we'll do types. If I can spell in Jest. Oh, haha, I should probably do it this way. Save dev, and then we'll do types. Jest. Okay. Now let's restart TypeScript service. No, it's still not happy with that. Huh. Shouldn't have to import these, like expect and test. These should just be there. And I'm wondering if this is just an artifact and I should just restart the what do you call this thing? The IDE? No, that's not it. Cannot use import statement outside of a module. Yeah, it's not happy about this for some reason. All right, maybe I'm going to try this right here. All right, there's some type of configuration. Potentially. Let's see what that does. But I like to use TypeScript. Yes, yes, of course. Node. Sure, yeah. Do you want Jest to add coverage reports? I personally don't care, but I'll just say yes. V8 automatically clear mock calls instances. Yes. Okay. All right. Cool. That created a Jest config. Is there anything in here that would make me happy? An array of extension files you can use. I think I understand what's going on. I think I understand. All right, so I think I'm gonna have to back out of some stuff. Let me make sure I am using yes. Okay, so I installed Jest. Turns out there's a specific one for JavaScript. Yeah. This is the joys of doing stuff in Node land. I should have used Go. Okay, so we're gonna remove that. Remove. I think it's remove. Jest. Is it remove? Oh yeah, it is. And we also want to remove the types. We want to do this instead. I think, where is it at? Oh, I still need to, okay, never mind. All right, I'm dumb. I still need it. I still need all of that. So we're gonna do all of the stuff again that I just undid. We'll add the types. We'll re-add them rather. Okay, and now there's a plugin that's needed, and it's here. Oh wait, no, I'm dumb again. Oh my gosh. I wasn't sure if I read this, but I did see this, and I wasn't sure. I probably, I could have did a better job reading. We need to remove Jest. And the plugin, this thing right here, we got to remove that. Okay. Now, I think I can just do this one instead. And I don't think I need to worry about types anymore. I hope. Well, no, I do. I had to do it this way now. Just globals. There are two ways. I'm trying to think which one I would prefer. I think I prefer this way. Okay, perfect. So with that, I want to say that maybe it'll just work. Hopefully. Now the question is, how do I call this? Is it TS Jest? Maybe. So we'll say TS Jest. Let's try that. See what happens. Okay. All right. So there's more to learn here. This doesn't. This obviously isn't everything. I wonder if I can just type jest. I wonder maybe that's the same thing. Let's try that. Okay. Interesting. Let me I don't trust that. Let me remove my node modules. Okay, all right. This is okay. All right. That's more in line with what I was expecting that last one to do. Okay. Gosh, this is a pain in the ass, if I say so myself. The only commands are config. There's nothing to actually run. Oh gosh. How does this thing work? So the CLI right here isn't doing what I expected it to do. I thought that would just, you know, discover all of the tests and run the thing, but I don't think that's what it's doing. Maybe it is. Nope, it's not doing anything. Yeah, I can't just do jest either. I wonder if I still need jest even with TS jest. Maybe TS jest is something where I don't have, man, I don't know. This is weird. Yeah, no, I was right. I still need jest. Okay. That's it. And I still need the types for jest. It begs the question, what the hell is TS jest? What is that for if I still need everything? So yeah, I'm gonna keep TS jest and I'll need the types for jest, which again, what is the point of TS jest? Okay. All right, so we have all of the things now. Okay, we got, but it's still doing this weird. It doesn't like the fact that I'm using these modules. Trying to figure out how to get rid of this now. according to this, it looks at this right here. It knows that this is a module that I'm using modules. So I shouldn't need to do what I just did here in the script. I shouldn't need to do that. I should just be able to call jest. Okay, so this is where things are about to get interesting, I think. I am going to use, what do you call it? Like an agent, an LLM. Okay. I could use this one, but I'm not. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Okay, open up one of these. It's already open. And let's go into this right here. All right. So I don't know what's going on, so I'm gonna tell it to. I'm gonna fix the issues. What happens when I run test, PNPM test? It's very expensive, as you can see. I'm already at 9 cents. I have local models too. And I may use some of them soon. All right, so it wants me to use this. Use the TSJS presets default ESM preset. That may not even exist. Set extensions to treat as ESM for TS. I don't even know where I would do that. Configure a transform entry for TS Jest. See, this is too much effort. I shouldn't have to do all of that, right? Should I have to do all of that? It seems like a lot. Just get a goddamn test. God dang. I'm trying to see if this has native support for TypeScript. That's basically what I need. TypeScript makes life hard for me because it's a language that compiles to another language, and I understand that technically all programming languages are languages that compile down to another language. The difference though is they don't compile down to another high level programming language that itself is the same essentially. All the other ones, they compile down to something like assembly. Nobody's like, it's very different. Anyway, native type stripping, the version model versions. Mocha extension TS. All right, so I think I just wasted 9 cents because I'm going to ignore everything that told me to do. And we're going to install Mocha and see if it'll do the thing. And if it does, I'll remove the other thing. And I assume I could just install Mocha, so we'll try that. Just got me getting started. And it wants me to run npx Mocha. Okay, and all right, I need to use assert now. What? Oh, I don't know if I like this assertion. It uses it uses the native node assertion. I don't like that at all. Oh, 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 I forgot. When I copied over the files from the old project to this new project is Svelte. I forgot. Okay, well then. Technically, that doesn't exist. It's not even technically, it doesn't exist. I was hoping that this would just tell me the convention of the files. Oh, wait, maybe this is it. Test. So it's looking for anything that has .test in it. It's the glob that I see here, or spec. It should find this. Or maybe I had to give it the glob pattern. Maybe. I've never used Mocha, so that could be the case. Yeah, all right, cool. I'll just specify it here. We'll do Mocha instead of the extension thing. I'll point it to where it needs to go. So it's in. Wait, what? So we're gonna do. Wait. Mocha. Then pass in the where it's supposed to go. So it's gonna be test, and that'll be anything that has .test.ts on it, like such. No space, and that should still give me that same error that I just got. Cool. So now it's a matter of figuring out why can't it find whatever modules it's complaining about, which is these right here. It should be able to find that. Oh, actually, I think I know why. It's not finding that. Technically, in Svelte land, it knows about the lib, that kind of thing. Now, it may be the case that Svelte has a specific place that it wants tests, like unit tests. And if that's the case, then I've just wasted a bunch of my time. No, this is for testing components. Yeah, this isn't what I want. Yeah, never mind. Okay, no, it doesn't. So then, uh, we'll just do we'll do it this way. So I'll do dot slash. It's not gonna be lib. These describes should work, but they're not. And I'm trying to figure I'm trying to figure out why. It's not discover. Oh wait, it's just okay. It sees the test now. Test is not defined. But it isn't test defined. Oh, it's it. It's it. I forgot. I thought I changed all of those already. Okay, so we're down to one last thing. Okay, all right. Requested module does not provide an export named text compute text statistic. Wait a minute, that was weird. I forgot. This is from earlier. Okay, all right. This is from earlier. It's not there anymore. I put it in text anal. There we go. Now, that still doesn't explain why. Wait a minute. Let me just get rid of these assertions. I guess you had to use the assertion library with Mocha. But anyway, it's not explaining why all of these are what they are, right? Okay, so yeah, but no. It knows. I'm gonna just do it. still getting this right here. I don't know how to get, man. That's annoying. If I'm coming here thinking that it's gonna work, but anyway, this is what I was expecting to see this entire time. So I've spent an hour and a half, or maybe two, trying to get this. This is what I wanted to see, so I can do this, and let's confirm that I can debug a test. Console log. Why couldn't I do this with Jest? I don't know. I'm still disappointed. I'm thinking, why? I'll just do that. Put a breakpoint here, and then we'll say debug. All right, look at that. Debugger listening. And look at that. It's waiting. This is what I was expecting with Jest. Or whatever the hell I was just using. I don't know. I don't understand why I could not do this with Jest. But now the issue is why am I seeing this now? I don't know how to fix that. Okay, so I have the types. I have Chai, and I have Mocha, and I have Node. What I am assuming is that describe that there must be a collision. There has to be a couple of namespaces, and I can't figure out which. That's the only thing I can think of for why I'm getting this squiggly line. Cannot find name. 1 moment. All right. So yeah, I have these types here, but I'm in the wrong place. But for whatever reason, I don't know. I don't know where these where this describe is coming from. I was under the impression that it was coming from Mocha here. Anyway, let's keep reading what it was saying. I shouldn't need to do this. I don't think I should have to do that. Because every other thing that I've installed, describe is there. It's just there by default. Now I want to be clear. My issue isn't a does it run issue. It's my development workflow. So as you can see, if I run the test. Well, they fell, but I mean, they fell, but they run and they run the way they're supposed to. What my problem is I don't like these squigglies. And I don't know how to fix that. I thought by adding those types, where was it? I saw it somewhere. Mocha. I saw it somewhere where there are two ways that you can get the types. You can import it, or you could you can install a types package. But now I don't see that anywhere. So now I'm wondering, what did I do? It's just saying by default, it should find these tests. According to this, by default, it's going to look in the test directory. Oh, I see. JS, CJS, MJS. Man, why doesn't it include? I would prefer to have a file that I can specify this stuff in versus doing it all in a command. But I guess there's any Boolean flag. Yeah, I guess there's. God dang it! I have to do that. I have to do this. Oh, that sucks. Okay, now we can start doing things. So I have a naive implementation where all I'm doing is splitting a like I don't know like some text by space, but as we can see that's conflicting with the first one where I'm saying that an empty string should return 0, but it's returning 1. There's an easy way to fix that. So for one, we'll just do a guard. So we'll say before we even do this, we'll check to see if the string is empty. So we'll say if string is empty, specifically that, and I'm going to make this a constant just to name it. So we'll call this empty string. Yeah, I was making sure I spelled it right. So we can dump that here. We can say if that's equal to an empty string, then just set this equal to 1 or to 0, right? So we'll say 0. Otherwise, we'll split it up, right? This is a bit of a hack, but did it rerun the thing? I don't know if it's rerunning these. Yeah, I don't think it's working. It's just saying waiting for changes. All right, I'll figure that out another day. So we'll just redo the thing. And we see now that it's passing now. All right, so now I can move on to the next one, which is just giving me 4 instead of 5. So this is just, let me just debug really. This is where I gave it that input, the fake input that I made up. So let's go here, right? This is the one that's failing. Get rid of that, and let's come back to our package, remove that watch. All right, so we have whatever that is. What do you call it? I don't know. Let's just debug on it. Okay, we're gonna set text. We see here text is now equal to here, and we could do some stuff to that. So let's split it like I'm doing in the function, the underlying function. So this is if I split with by character, right? I'll get it this way. Now observe when I split it by space, empty space. What do I get? I get 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that I just suck at counting. 1, hold on. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 spaces here. I think. Let's try this. Let's do text. We'll filter, and we'll take for every character. We want the characters that are equal to a space. And let's grab the length. Oh, all right. Well, we'll try this out. Oh. Text.filter is not a function. Oh, okay. I'm tripping. Excuse me. I hope y'all can understand my confusion, right? There are 3 spaces here, but there are only 2 spaces here. I am so confused by that right now. This is very strange indeed. This is very strange. All right, I'm going to try something. I'm going to put 1 space. We'll put 2 spaces. 1, 2 spaces. Okay, all right. Let's try let's see what happens when I split this on a space. Do I get 1 or do I get 2? I get 2. I know this is silly, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try this. Huh? I get 2. Okay, well, let's try let's try that on 2. I get 3. Interesting. I I don't understand. I legitimately do not understand. Okay. Um let's try text another thing. Let's try this. We'll say equal. Let's try a letter. Let's try W. That's a good letter. Okay. Now we're going to split 3 on W. And we get okay, I think there's obviously there's an edge case around split. And I need to know it. When the empty string is used as a separator, the string is not split by user perceived characters, grapheme clusters, or Unicode characters, code points, but by UTF code units. This destroys surrogate pairs. See how you get a string? How do you get a string to a character array in JavaScript? Okay, so I'm assuming that I should not use that as a separator. Looks like I could give it a regular expression though. I don't expect that to change anything per se, but I am going to give it a regular expression because I think it's more expressive. Oh. I always forget how to start a regular expression. So I'm just going to take this. So this will split it by, this is basically space. It's the same thing. It doesn't change anything per se. Let's go ahead and finish this and then we'll rerun it. All right, I fixed it. I'm going to remove this breakpoint so that it'll finish running. Okay, look at that. So, this is very brittle. This isn't going to work, obviously. This, as I was saying, this is the very naive approach, which is just to split it. I spent a lot of time just doing everything else. But this is the meat of what I was trying to show, that this isn't going to work. And the reason for that, and this is why I wanted to have the test, so I can start showing types of input for why that wouldn't work. Right? So if I just split on space or on, on white space here, these empty characters would count as words, and I don't want that. Right? I only want words to count as words. And obviously, maybe this isn't obvious, but I also want only real words to count as words. Right? So something like this is a real word. Now, obviously, there are certain words that exist that may not exist in a dictionary. So I am going to want to figure out if words are words. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to want to do. And what's cool about this is that I can just write these little functions over time and I'll have a library. And like I was saying earlier, this is going to be most of the work. It's going to happen here. This compute text statistic. Let's get rid of this empty string right here. Another one that's going to be interesting is sentences. I think a naive approach is to split by period. And again, this is why I'm going to have tests, right? Because there's certain input that obviously is in a sentence. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? If I were to split this by period, well, what I would end up getting is this and this. This is what I would end up getting. And obviously this isn't two sentences, this is one sentence. So this is the type of thing that I'm gonna have to figure out. Another thing I'm gonna have to figure out is, how do I count the number of syllables in a word? May sound trivial, but I don't think it is. Just off the top of my head, the only thing that I can think of, and I don't know if this is right, is when you have a verb, when you go from a verb, not a verb, what am I saying? When you go from a vowel to a consonant, or you go from a consonant to a vowel, like in back, right? So let's use never mind, I just proved that wrong by reading this. I was about to say sentences, but sentences. So that's one syllable, tenses, three syllables. How the hell do I figure that out? You know? It's where this is one of these things where something very simple, I just need to figure out how many words exist in some text. Okay, well, what is a word? Is this a word? We don't know. Or sentences. Well, what's a sentence? Grammatically, technically, you have a subject and a verb, but I think you can also have a sentence that can stand on its own, like hi, I think, or hello, or hey, or bye. I think those are sentences. But also, like, there are other things, complete sentences, fragments. How do you identify that programmatically? Obviously, you do it the same way you do it manually, when you're doing it with your hand, but still. In any case, the first thing that I'm going to do, and this is how I like to design things, because I have no idea how to figure out how many words exist in something, what I'll do is I'll just create a function and I'll just defer it. Doesn't matter right now. So we'll say calculate or count words. How about that? That's a good one. And this is something that I expect it to give me a number. Right? And for now, we'll return basically this. For now. And we'll call count words. What this allows me to do is move on, right? Like not get stuck on this. So I accept that this is it's not a good solution, but that's okay. I'm getting the idea of what my interfaces are going to look like, how these functions, what functions need to exist. So right away, I'm also seeing that I'll probably going to want to do the same thing for sentences. Sentences. Now these are all going to be private, right? So yeah, they're not going to be exported. Right now, I'm just going to return 0 because, well, that's what I'm returning. I was returning. We're going to do the same thing for the syllables. And these implementations could all be incredibly different, like very different. Have a better thing to return. It's not really better, but gets rid of the editor yelling at me about unused variables. Okay, cool. So now I've basically I've implemented this, so I can basically close this as done. And then all of my attention gets focused on making these do what they're supposed to do. So this is now the focus of my work, right? And I test it via these things right here. Wait, really? So all of these are passing at the moment. I still don't understand this white space, but here's how I'm gonna handle the white space and make it where it doesn't matter, because it shouldn't even count this. Technically, the amount of words here are 2. Technically, that's what should be the case, right? So test-driven development is the test fails, so we make the test fail. Now let's make it pass. Now, I have an easy way of making this one pass. At least I think it's easy in my mind. As we see here, I'm splitting by empty by this, right? I think maybe what I should do is throw away the empty things after I split them out, right? So I have this array, and let's maybe filter it. And for every character, let's say we say it's not empty. It's not, it's just not empty. I think that's what they were, right? We go back to here. Wait, where did they go? Oh, here we are. It doesn't show history. Ah, man. Oh, well, that's okay. We'll do it as an empty string for now. I think that's what a space is. So we want to filter anything that is not equal to that, I think, and grab that length. Let's rerun this test. And look at that. We now have a passing test. It would be nice if it showed the output like it's supposed to. I'm not seeing that. And it's It's annoying. Oh, test history. Here we are. It does have test history. Okay. I see. It's only showing me when things fell. All right, fine. I guess. Fine. Well, anyway, we got the test working. So that means my logic up here to split and then filter is indeed what I want it to be. Okay, so another one that I want to do is, let's say for instance, I have, let's say this sentence here. Let me get rid of that. So it doesn't count punctuation. Punctuation. So an example would be something like this. Hello world. That's an example. So in this case, because I'm doing the naive. Oh wait, am I? Oh, I'm no longer doing the naive thing. Never mind. I thought I was doing the naive thing. Still, I forgot. I changed it. I'm no longer doing it that way. But even still, I can think of another situation. I need to do this anyway. I need to have characters because I happen to know that there are other functions that I'm going to implement that take into account the number of characters that exist. And I need to be able to distinguish between alphanumeric characters and special characters and punctuation and other types of things, right? So we're just gonna have something for characters, and this will be something to represent basic characters, alphanumeric characters. So we'll have characters like that, and we'll probably also want to have a count characters function. All right, so this is upset because there's no character count. All right, so apparently we're going to have a count characters function. Same signature as all of the rest. And honestly, the fact that I have all of these same signatures, it's making me think that maybe I could have a class, right? Where I just initialize the thing and I could just call these methods and it'll give me that. Something to think about for the future, I guess. So in this case, the naive thing to do is to take the text, and again, the same approach where we split it, but this time instead of splitting it in doing it by that, we do this. And that's gonna give me every character, and then I could just get the length. This is not the naive way of doing it, because that's going to take every punctuation and all that kind of stuff, and I don't want that, right? But for now, we're gonna go with it, and the test is gonna pass initially, and then it's gonna fail because I'm gonna make it fail. Okay, so we're gonna pass through these new characters and all that kind of stuff. Let's come back to the tests here. All right, now this is words summary. So let's do another thing, magic, and this is gonna be character summary. Summary. Okay, all right, cool. So my typing skills have atrophied. Okay, so all right, let's just do something dumb. It counts characters. It counts characters. We'll come up with more descriptive tests as I discover the flaws. All right, and because this basically works like all of the other ones, I'm gonna take this text here, the one that I actually this is actually the one. This should go here. It doesn't count punctuation, but for now I'm going to take the same text, and I actually want word characters rather. Oops. Okay, so we're gonna assert that the characters, I'm just gonna put in something. I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Watch and learn that I can't count, but that's okay. Wait, it is not defined. All right, I'm confused now. It's not defined, but what? It was just working. Oh, this is an import issue. I am baffled how somehow it was just working, but now it's no longer working when I use the right import. Like when I'm importing the right thing, it just doesn't work anymore. I got an op1 error. I'm going to trust the computer because remember, this is the one that I counted. Remember, I counted that. But this is going to be, this is supposed to be wrong anyways. And what I mean by that is this should not be counted as a character. Neither should this. Neither should this. Oops. Neither should the space. So what I want to do is come to this function here, and I want to have like punctuation, I guess. I want to ignore that. I'm just going to do it as a what do you call this? A string. So I'll do it this way. Okay, I think that's all of the special characters, I suppose. What I'm gonna do is I want to like, because how do I explain this? Because I don't know how much text I'm going to be given as input, and I'm going to have to scan every character to check to see if it's one of these characters. What I want to avoid is having to scan through this list to check and say, all right, well, I don't want to have to do that. Right. So there's two options. Either I can start at this character, this tilde-ish or whatever, this backtick, and I can go to my input text and I can scan the entire input text for that character. And then I can move on to the next character, this tilde, and do the same thing in my input text. Now imagine if my input text is millions of characters. That's terrible, right? I don't want to do that. Now, obviously this is in a string format, so I can't do it that way. So what I'm instead going to do is I'm going to treat this as a hash map. I'm going to going to create a hash map. And instead, what I'm going to do is like every character in my input, I'm just going to check my punctuation hash, essentially. Oh, that's a good name for this. Punctuation hash, right? So I can ask my punctuation hash, hey, do you have this? And I'll get a response. And I only need to ask that question once every character in my input, which is, you know, good performance, I think. So let's turn this into the thing. So we'll split this. Remember, we can do that trick. So I'm going to split it, and that'll split it by everything. So that gives me all of the characters. Now, because that's an array, what I'm going to do is create a set. And you can pass a set like a iteratable or whatever, like a array like object, and that'll turn it into a set. All right, so now that gives me my little thingamajig. So when I split this, instead of just doing length, what I instead want to do is filter. And what I'm going to do is for each character, I want to check to see, is it in this punctuation hash? So we'll see if it's in there. And if it is in there, then, well, we don't want it. So we want to negate this. So basically, if it's not in this, then keep it. Otherwise, throw it away. So this will give me the length of all of the characters that are left after filtering out everything that's in this set up here. A little rusty on the streaming, so if that explanation doesn't make sense, you know, I'm rusty. I'm just doing a little bit of action, like so. Cleanup, as they call it. All right, whatever. It's going to keep it as is. Okay. Now I'm going to redo this. And I probably should have wrote the test first. And yeah, I should have wrote the test first. Well, actually, I did. I'm tripping. I did. So I'm going to rerun this, and this should fail. Right? Look at that. It fails. And it fails in the right way. Right? It was 13, and now it's 2 less characters. Gee, I wonder which 2 characters those could be. It should be 3 characters, so let's make it 3 characters. Remember, I also want to filter out the space, so we just put a space. That's what that is right there. It's a special character. All right, so this really should be 10. So when I run this again, it should be right because I fixed it. Yeah, look at that. Cool. Now, I'm not a fan of Mocha so far. I mean, I like the fact that it works, but I'm gonna search for another test framework that includes the assertion library and all of the, like, I want batteries included. I don't want to have to do all this, and I want it to be TypeScript native and just fucking work. So I am going to change things that way I can have a watch, because test-driven development, in my opinion, it doesn't work unless you have the test automatically running in the background after you make any change. Like, that's how you get your feedback for your system. So it's a mix of running the application and doing the thing. In my case, I don't have an application, but yeah, so I'm going to have tests to exercise all of my logic. But hopefully you can kind of see where things are going. I'm going to, slowly implement these functions, and they'll become more and more sophisticated. And I imagine I'll have to start thinking about performance in some of them. And as these, mature, this automatically gets more powerful, and I can power more. I guess more powerful analysis. I'm looking for the one, right? So those all feed into here. So once all of that, is implemented, I can call a reading ease test, and then it'll give me a score, and I can compare those scores to here. That's how this all got started, by the way. I'm trying to understand the underlying methods for figuring out this readability score, and I'm trying to implement it for myself. I want it here locally. I want full control, and yeah, that's what's going on. Anyway, I've been doing this for a little bit too long. I'm gonna go now. So yeah, enjoy your weekends. Enjoy the rest of your nights. I'm out. Peace.